Hello. We're going to be talking about mindfulness meditation. I have quite a bit of experience with mindfulness meditation, both as a practitioner of it, I do it all the time, and it has helped me a lot, and also as somebody who has worked with it and learned about it in the field of psychology. So, was mindfulness meditation? It's one of the most powerful psychological tools that we have discovered to date, and it is a pretty standard thing to have recommended to someone during, say, the course of therapy. It's something that is frequently taught about, at the very least, in graduate programs. I'm not sure if undergraduate programs get into the nuance of different treatment modalities, so I'm not, because they don't really teach about specific therapeutic techniques in an undergraduate bachelor's degree. That's more of a graduate training thing, but it may have made it into undergraduate classes as well. I don't know. They're a bit vague. But yeah, so mindfulness meditation is a very robust technique. It leads to observable changes in the brain that correspond to observable changes in behavior and increased mental wellness. So this isn't one of those things where it's like it could be the placebo effect. It's like it's not. There's I will in another video I'm going to get into the different studies that have demonstrated the neurological basis for how mindfulness meditation has these beneficial effects. But that's getting into the minutia. So today we're just going to be talking about how to practice mindfulness meditation and go into a bit of like the different things it can be useful for. All right, let's start. So, who should meditate? Pretty much everyone. The way in which meditation affects the brain and your psychological state is basically relevant to everyone. It's also relevant to facets of pretty much every mental illness. And that works not just on a psychological level, but it actually does neurologically change the brain in ways that can be observed on fMRI and MRI. In terms of how often and how frequently one should engage in meditation, studies show that even small amounts of meditation, like 5 to 10 minutes a day, once or twice a week, can lead to improvements, but they're much smaller than if you do something like. So the ideal is basically 20 to 30 minutes daily. So once per day, you just sit down and meditate. You do this technique, this mindfulness meditation for 20 to 30 minutes, and you just do that every day. After about a couple weeks to a couple of months, you'll have these pretty significant changes that are observable on brain imaging. So, I mean, you can do it either way. It always helps, no matter how little or how much, but there are definitely certain benefits, like the greatest benefits are associated with that. If you meditate for longer than 30 minutes, I mean, there's no negative benefit. And a lot of people find that that reduces acute stress, especially. And it can be a really nice and meaningful hobby. But there's kind of diminishing returns after 40 minutes once a day or so. So, but you can get a small extra benefit if you do longer or do it even more than once a day. Okay, and now we're ready to actually meditate. Meditation is actually a remarkably simple process, even more remarkable given what a profound effect it has on the brain. Okay, so you're going to want to find a quiet space. Basically, you're going to want as few distractions as possible. Meditation works by essentially clearing your mind, so distractions are kind of counter to that goal. So, you know how it is. Choose somewhere that's kind of calm, doesn't have a lot of loud noise in any sense of the word. Some people stand, some people walk, but a lot of people, I think most people sit or lay down because that kind of has even less distractions associated with it. It's a simpler behavior. So, you're going to want to set a time. Because you don't want to be worrying about the time, you'll want to offload that task onto a timer, something like that, so that you don't have to think about it. Again, 20 to 30 minutes once a day is kind of the gold standard, but doing something as small as 5 to 10 minutes is also great too. Some people find that they have a hard time sitting down for 5 to 10 minutes, but after they've done it for a while, it gets easier, and then they find it easier to increase the length to the standard 20 to 30 minutes. Other people just jump right in. So now that we've got ourselves all set up to meditate, let's actually go through the process of it. You're going to want to close your eyes. You don't necessarily have to, but closing your eyes removes a lot of potential distractions, so that helps. Um, so a lot of people focus on their breath here. That's kind of probably the easiest way to do it. Some people engage in meditation by simply focusing on the act of being, but that's a little bit abstract. Most people find it simpler to focus on their breath. So just breathe in, breathe out. Just focus on this simple act of breathing. Some people do an internal visualization, like the air comes in neon red and then goes out. It exchanges, turns neon green in your lungs, then exchanges and comes out as neon blue. Something like that. You can do that if you want, or just simply focus on the act of doing it itself. So, what you're going to want to do is thoughts will inevitably come up. We're always thinking things. That keeps us on track with our daily life. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be overwhelming. And having periods without being worried about the day to day is very healthy. So, what you're going to want to do is, as you breathe and your thoughts come up, you just accept them, acknowledge them, and then let them go. When you acknowledge them, you don't have any reaction to them. You simply accept them and then let go without any further engagement. As you let go of your thoughts like this, by simply returning to your breath and not engaging with your thoughts, eventually this will clear your mind. The goal is to observe without judgment. So, usually, when we think, we have some sort of response like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's good. Oh, that makes me anxious. You want to simply exist without judgment as your thoughts come. Your thoughts are not good or bad, they are simply there. You accept that they're there and let go. Each time you get distracted by a thought that you let go, return to the act of breathing. Focusing on your breathing allows you to let go of those thoughts. And then they will pass outside of your working memory time limit capacity. They will just drop completely. Eventually, you'll end up in this state with a very calm mind. Often, there are some nice effects, like you'll feel a sense of relief, especially if you were anxious prior to this, because you'll basically be leaving your prior mental state and replacing it with this blank, non judgmentally accepting state. So, just keep holding it. Inevitably, more thoughts will come up. You will always be getting distracted all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the act of acceptance and letting go and staying present with your breath. So basically, you kind of want to replace your thoughts with the act of breathing. Instead of focusing on your thoughts, instead, you use your breathing to anchor yourself and anchor your perception. And that'll kind of block out all these like anxious or like overly active thoughts. And then just hold that until the timer runs out. And that's meditation. Don't be hard on yourself if it's not natural at first. I think that's how it is for a lot of people. It becomes more natural with time. It becomes easier to do longer and longer durations of meditation as you go along. All right. I hope you found this helpful. Now go out and meditate.